Macabre stories to go to sleep. Once upon a time, in a small town far away, there existed a collection of macabre stories that were whispered in hushed tones. These tales were not for the faint of heart, as they delved into the realm of the supernatural and the unexplained. They were stories that would send shivers down your spine and make it difficult to sleep at night. In this episode, we will explore some of these chilling stories that remind us that the supernatural can appear when we least expect it, and that it is always more terrifying when experienced firsthand. Our first story takes us to a remote area in Mexico, where a young man inherits a house from his deceased grandfather. The house, located in a rural part of the country, seemed charming at first with its adobe facade and red tile roof. Surrounded by wild plants and a vast field, it had a certain allure. However, as the young man settled into his new home, he began to hear strange noises at night. Footsteps on the roof, as if a large animal was pacing back and forth. At first, he dismissed it as typical nocturnal creatures, but as the nights went on, he noticed a pattern. The footsteps would suddenly stop, followed by a noise in the backyard. Curiosity got the best of him, and one night, he peered out his window to investigate. What he saw left him frozen in fear. A grotesque figure, part man and part dog, moved slowly across the field. Its silhouette illuminated by the moon, revealing a dark, hairy skin, strong arms, and a grotesque head with glowing yellow eyes. It was a sight straight out of a nightmare. The young man couldn't believe his eyes, but the neighbor, an elderly woman, confirmed his worst fears. She called it a gnoll, a witch-like creature that could transform into an animal. According to her, the young man's grandfather had a debt with this creature, and now it was coming to collect. Terrified and unable to afford an expert's help, the young man lived in constant fear, waiting for the creature to return and claim what his grandfather owed. Our second story takes us to a small village nestled in the Sierra de Coahuila Mountains. Here, a woman named Ines lived in fear of the night. Whenever the sun set, she would rush home, closing all the doors and windows, as if trying to keep something out. The villagers knew of her fear, but it wasn't until one day when her nephew asked her about it that she revealed the truth. Many years ago, Ines had discovered a hidden clearing in the woods near her house. During the day, it seemed harmless, just another patch of land in the arid landscape. But at night, the atmosphere changed. The air whispered ancient secrets, and the trees seemed to shield the clearing from the darkness. One night, curiosity got the best of Ines, and she stayed to investigate. What she found terrified her. The clearing was filled with human remains and ancient artifacts, as if it were a burial ground. She realized that the spirits of the deceased were protecting something that belonged to them and that they didn't want anyone to find. Ines became their target, and every night she felt their presence, waiting for her to make a mistake and venture out into the darkness. Her house, with its adobe walls and red tile roofs, seemed to hold the echoes of their voices. The days were peaceful, with the sun shining and birds singing, but the nights were a stark contrast, filled with an ominous silence and a darkness that seemed alive. Our final story takes us to the rugged mountains between the states of Nayarit and Sinaloa in Mexico. It was a time when the military's presence in the war against drug cartels was not as prominent as it is today. One night, a group of soldiers stumbled upon a marijuana plantation in a remote area. As they patrolled the area, they felt an eerie presence, as if they were being watched. The night grew colder, and they heard the sound of something moving through the trees, encircling them. The soldiers, accustomed to danger, exchanged fearful glances, unsure of what they were facing. Finally, reinforcements arrived, and the mysterious presence seemed to fade away. The soldiers who had arrived later shared their own chilling experience. They had gotten lost in the mountains, seemingly trapped in a never-ending loop. No matter how far they walked, they always ended up back where they started. They heard laughter that seemed to come from nowhere. Two elderly women appeared before them, mocking their predicament. The soldiers were convinced that these women were supernatural guardians of the area, who had scared away the drug dealers. The soldier's friend, a young man from Chiapas, believed that these women were more than they seemed. He believed they were spirits, and that they had guided him back to safety. The soldiers left the area, shaken by their encounter, but also filled with a newfound respect for the unknown. These stories, though different in nature, share a common thread. They remind us that the supernatural is always lurking, waiting to reveal itself when we least expect it. They teach us that sometimes the things we cannot understand are the most terrifying. As we delve into the world of macabre stories, let us remember to keep an open mind and to embrace the unknown, for it is in these stories that we find a glimpse into the mysteries of the night. In a remote village nestled deep in the mountains of Colwilla, there was an old legend that whispered of a cursed doll hidden within an abandoned house. This doll was said to possess an evil spirit that would come to life at night, causing havoc and terrorizing anyone who dared to enter. One brave adventurer, named Miguel, decided to investigate the legend and uncover the truth behind the cursed doll. Armed with only a flashlight, he cautiously entered the decrepit house. As he made his way through the dusty rooms, he could feel the eerie presence growing stronger. Suddenly, he heard a soft giggle coming from the corner of the room. Turning his flashlight, he saw the doll sitting on a worn-out chair, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Before Miguel could react, the doll sprang to life, its tiny limbs moving with unnatural agility. It lunged at him, its small hands reaching for his throat. Miguel fought back, struggling to overpower the possessed doll. With a final burst of strength, he managed to smash it against the wall, reducing it to a pile of shattered porcelain. As the room fell silent, Miguel knew he had put an end to the curse that had plagued the village for centuries. From that day forward, the villagers slept peacefully, free from the malevolent presence of the cursed doll. Once the news of Miguel's brave encounter with the cursed doll spread throughout the village, people began to share their own experiences with supernatural entities. One elderly woman, Dona Rosa, recalled a chilling incident that happened many years ago. She was walking home late one night when she noticed a dark, shadowy figure following her. The hairs on the back of her neck stood up as she quickened her pace, but the figure matched her every step. Terrified, she sought refuge in a nearby church, hoping to find solace and protection. The moment she crossed the threshold, however, the figure vanished into thin air. Dona Rosa believed it to be a vengeful spirit, forever condemned to roam the night. Her tale served as a haunting reminder that evil entities are not bound by time or space and can appear when least expected. Another chilling story from this collection takes us to a desolate island off the coast of Scotland. It is said that the island holds an ancient secret, hidden within the ruins of a long-abandoned castle. Legend has it that every full moon, a ghostly figure emerges from the depths of the castle, wandering the halls in search of its lost love. The figure, known as the Spectral Lady, is said to be a restless spirit trapped between the world of the living and the dead. Witnesses claim to have heard her mournful cries and seen her ethereal form glide across the moonlit corridors. The island's residents believe that the Spectral Lady's presence is a warning, a sign of impending doom. They avoid the castle at all costs, heeding the tragic tale of lost love and the curse that befell the island. As the moon reaches its zenith, the island falls under a heavy silence, holding its collective breath, waiting for the Spectral Lady to emerge once more. Beyond these macabre tales, there exists a vast world of supernatural phenomena yet to be explored. From haunted houses to cursed artifacts, the realm of the unknown is filled with countless stories that captivate our darkest imaginings. It is a realm where the line between fantasy and reality blurs, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and where the supernatural lurks in every shadow. These stories serve as a reminder of the power of storytelling and the human fascination with the unknown. They invite us to venture into the realm of the supernatural, to embrace the thrill of fear and the unknown, and to appreciate the eerie beauty that lies within the world of macabre tales. So tonight, as you lay in bed, ready to succumb to the realm of dreams, remember that the darkness holds secrets yet to be discovered, and that the macabre stories that keep you awake at night are a testament to the enduring power of the human imagination. Sweet dreams, or perhaps not so sweet. As the night grew darker, a group of teenagers gathered around a campfire, eager to share their own spine-chilling stories. One by one, They recounted their encounters with ghosts, demons, and other supernatural beings. One girl, Maria, shared a harrowing tale of a haunted mansion she had visited with her friends. The house had a notorious reputation for being the dwelling place of a vengeful spirit. As they explored the creaking corridors, they felt a chilling presence watching their every move. Suddenly, a door slammed shut, trapping them inside. Panic ensued as they desperately searched for an exit. Finally, they found a hidden passage that led them to safety. Breathless and shaken, they vowed never to return to that haunted mansion again. Another boy, Carlos, shared a story of a cursed painting he had come across in an antique store. Intrigued by its dark allure, he purchased it without knowing the terrible secret it held. Once the painting was in his possession, strange occurrences plagued his home. Shadows danced across the walls, objects moved on their own, and eerie whispers filled the air. Determined to break the curse, Carlos embarked on a quest to uncover the painting's origins. It was revealed that the artist had summoned a malevolent spirit into the artwork, cursing anyone who possessed it. Armed with this knowledge, Carlos performed a ritual to banish the spirit, freeing himself and his home from its haunting grip. In a secluded village deep in the heart of Transylvania, an ancient book of spells was said to hold unimaginable power and darkness. This book, known as the Book of Shadows, was said to be written by a powerful sorcerer centuries ago. Legend has it that the book contains spells that can raise the dead, control the elements, and even grant immortality. Many had sought the book, but all who dared to possess its power met a tragic fate. It was said that the book had a mind of its own, luring unsuspecting souls into its grasp. Once in possession of the book, they would become consumed by its dark magic, their once gentle hearts turning cold and sinister. The book was said to whisper to those who dared to open its pages, promising untold power and riches. But those who succumbed to its temptations soon found themselves trapped, forever bound to the book's malevolent will. Many attempted to destroy the Book of Shadows, but its power was too strong. It seemed to regenerate itself, appearing in a different form each time it was destroyed. Its dark presence continued to haunt the village, casting a sinister shadow over the lives of its inhabitants. The villagers learned to live with the book's presence, but they remained vigilant, knowing the dangers that lurked within its pages. One fateful night, a young girl named Sophia stumbled upon the Book of Shadows. Intrigued by its mysterious aura, she cautiously opened its cover, unleashing a whirlwind of darkness. Instantly, the village was plunged into chaos. Shadows danced along the streets, and the air grew thick with malevolence. The villagers pleaded with Sophia to close the book, but she was entranced by its power. With a surge of courage, Sophia made a desperate plea to the spirits of the book. She begged for their forgiveness and promised to use the book's power for good. In that moment, a blinding light enveloped the village, and the Book of Shadows disappeared, leaving only a sense of peace in its wake. From that day forward, the villagers lived without the looming presence of the Book of Shadows. Sophia became a guardian of the village, using her newfound knowledge of the book's magic to protect her people from the forces of darkness. The village thrived, and the tales of the Book of Shadows became a cautionary legend, a reminder of the dangers that can arise from the pursuit of power. In the depths of a cursed forest, there stood an ancient graveyard shrouded in darkness. The tombstones were weathered and cracked, a testament to the passage of time. Legend spoke of a ghostly figure that lurked among the graves, known as the Eternal Mourner. It was said that this spectral entity was trapped in a perpetual state of grief, forever mourning a lost loved one. Anyone who dared to visit the graveyard at night risked encountering the mournful wails and chilling whispers of the Eternal Mourner. One moonlit night, a young woman named Elena, driven by her fascination with the supernatural, ventured into the graveyard. As she walked between the tombstones, a bone-chilling wind blew through the air, causing the trees to creak eerily. Suddenly, a soft sobbing sound echoed in the distance. Curiosity overcoming her fear, Elena followed the sound until she came across a forlorn figure dressed in tattered white garments. The figure's face was hidden beneath a flowing veil, and its cries pierced the silence of the night. Driven by compassion, Helena approached the eternal mourner and gently placed a hand on its trembling shoulder. To her surprise, the ghostly figure turned towards her, revealing tear-stained eyes filled with an eternal sadness. In a whispering voice, the eternal mourner revealed its tragic tale, a tale of lost love and unending sorrow. Moved by its pain, Helena pledged to help the spirit find peace and closure. With each passing night, Helena visited the graveyard, delving deep into the history of the eternal mourner's lost love. She uncovered a long-forgotten betrayal and a heart-wrenching tragedy that had plagued the soul of the ghostly figure for centuries. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Helena devised a plan to bring redemption and release to the suffering spirit. On the night of the next full moon, Helena performed a solemn ritual, calling upon the forces of light and love to heal the wounds of the eternal mourner. She recited ancient incantations, her voice resonating with a mix of determination and compassion. As the final words left her lips, a brilliant light enveloped the graveyard, banishing the darkness that had plagued the spirit. In that moment, the eternal mourner's veil lifted, revealing a serene smile on its face. With a final farewell, the spirit dissipated into the night, leaving behind a sense of peace and closure. The graveyard, once haunted by sorrow, became a place of tranquility and remembrance. In the years that followed, the couple dedicated themselves to researching the history of the haunted mansion and the lives of its former residents. The tale of the eternal mourner became a cautionary reminder of the power of compassion and the potential for healing even the most tormented souls. Inspired by Elena's selflessness, individuals began to visit the graveyard to pay their respects and offer support to the spirits that rested there. The once abandoned graves were adorned with fresh flowers and heartfelt sentiments, a testament to the enduring power of human kindness and connection. In the heart of a desolate forest, there stood an old abandoned mansion. The mansion had a dark and mysterious past, with rumors of tragic events that had unfolded within its walls. Locals spoke of a malevolent spirit that haunted the mansion, known as the Phantom of Shadowbrook. It was said that the Phantom was a vengeful ghost, seeking revenge on anyone who dared to enter its domain. One stormy night, a group of thrill-seekers decided to enter the mansion and uncover its secrets. Armed with flashlights and trembling with excitement, they cautiously made their way through the decaying rooms. As they explored, they could feel the oppressive presence of the Phantom growing stronger. Suddenly, a chilling wind swept through the mansion, extinguishing their flashlights. Panic engulfed the group as they found themselves in complete darkness, unable to see or find their way out. Whispers filled the air, and the sound of footsteps echoed through the halls. It became clear that the Phantom was toying with them, relishing in their terror. With no other option, the group huddled together and mustered their courage. They decided to confront the Phantom head-on, armed only with their bravery and a deep desire to escape. As they called out to the ghost, their voices filled with determination. A flicker of light appeared in the distance. As the light grew brighter, the Phantom materialized before them. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly fire, and its presence filled the room with an icy chill. But instead of attacking, the Phantom seemed to pause, as if contemplating their resolve. In a soft, ethereal voice, it spoke of its tragic past and the pain that had bound it to the mansion. Moved by the Phantom's sorrow, the group listened with empathy. They realized that the spirit was trapped, unable to find peace until its grievances were acknowledged. One by one, they shared their own stories of loss and pain, offering understanding and compassion. The Phantom, touched by their kindness, began to fade away. It thanked the group for their willingness to listen and understand. With a final whispered farewell, the Phantom vanished, leaving behind a sense of closure and a renewed sense of hope within the walls of the mansion. News of the encounter spread throughout the town, and the mansion became a symbol of redemption and forgiveness. People flocked to the once feared building, not to be frightened, but to pay their respects to the Phantom and to honor the power of empathy and understanding. The mansion was no longer a place of darkness, but a place where healing and compassion prevailed. In another corner of the world, there was a small coastal village known for its eerie legends and tales of the supernatural. One such story was the legend of the Wailing Widow. According to the villagers, a grieving widow haunted the cliffs overlooking the sea, forever mourning the loss of her beloved husband. Each night, her mournful cries would echo through the village, leaving a haunting sense of sadness in its wake. The origins of the legend dated back to a time when the village was plagued by violent storms and treacherous waters. The villagers believed that the widow's anguish had manifested into an entity that warned them of impending danger. The ghostly figure was said to appear on stormy nights, standing atop the cliffs, her flowing white gown billowing in the wind. Her piercing wails served as a warning to the villagers to stay away from the sea. One stormy night, a young fisherman named Miguel found himself caught in the middle of a tempestuous sea. The waves crashed against his small boat, threatening to engulf him in their fury. Just as he was about to give up hope, he heard the distant wails of the wailing widow. Inspired by her sorrowful cries, he found the strength to navigate his boat back to safety, narrowly escaping the wrath of the storm. From that day forward, the villagers regarded the wailing widow as a guardian spirit, watching over them and guiding them through the treacherous waters. They erected a small shrine in her honor, where they would offer prayers and tokens of gratitude for her protection. In the heart of the macabre stories that circulated in the village, there was a tale of a cursed amulet that brought misfortune to anyone who possessed it. The amulet, known as the Hexed Heart, was said to have been forged by a powerful sorceress who sought revenge on her enemies. Legend had it that the amulet carried a dark energy that corrupted the mind and brought untold suffering to its wearer. One unfortunate soul, named Javier, unknowingly stumbled upon the Hexed Heart while exploring an ancient tomb. Intrigued by its beauty, he took it home, unaware of the curse that would soon befall him. As days turned into weeks, Javier's life took a dark turn. He became plagued by nightmares and unexplained accidents. His health deteriorated, and his once cheerful spirit turned melancholic. Desperate to break free from the curse, Javier sought the help of a wise old witch who lived deep in the forest. With her guidance, he embarked on a perilous journey to uncover the amulet's origin and find a way to break the curse. It was revealed that the sorceress who had created the Hexed Heart had embedded a piece of her own tormented soul into the amulet, forever binding its power to Javier's life force. Armed with this knowledge, Javier prepared for a ritual to sever the connection between the amulet and himself. As the moon reached its zenith, he stood before the witch, holding the Hexed Heart in his trembling hands. With incantations and ancient symbols, the witch channeled her energy into the amulet, breaking the curse that had held Javier captive. As the ritual reached its climax, a blinding light burst forth from the amulet, illuminating the forest. When the light subsided, Javier felt a weight lifted from his shoulders, a sense of freedom he had not felt in ages. The curse had been broken, and the Hexed Heart, now devoid of its dark energy, turned into a simple, ordinary stone. Javier returned to the village, forever changed by his encounter with the Hexed Heart. He shared his tale, warning others of the dangers of hidden curses and the power they hold over one's life. In conclusion, the macabre stories that have been shared remind us of the supernatural's presence in our world. From haunted houses to cursed artifacts, these tales captivate our imagination and reveal the enduring power of the human spirit. They teach us that compassion and understanding can bring redemption, that empathy can heal even the most tormented souls. These stories also serve as a cautionary reminder of the dangers that lurk in the pursuit of power and the unknown. As we navigate the mysteries of the night, let us embrace the thrill of fear and the beauty that lies within the world of macabre tales.